How's everybody doing today? Today, I'm going to talk about your bottom hand and how your bottom hand works. Okay? So, let's just get right into it. Your bottom hand, big leaguers say your bottom hand is supposed to work underneath like this. It's supposed to work like this. So if you have a bat in my hand, my bottom hand is supposed to work underneath this way. It's not supposed to work over this way or around this way or over this way. Or it's not supposed to work where I pull my elbow back to get my bottom hand to move. If I pull my elbow back to get my bottom hand to move, I will pull off the ball. If I swing like this and take my bottom hand over the top like this, I will, like I'm holding a frying pan, I'm going to pull off the ball. As you can see, the bat will go hump over the ball if my bottom hand is like this. So the only way you can hit a baseball square is you have to keep your bottom hand working in this direction. Okay, so now I'm going to explain how that works. A baseball bat is designed to swing like this. By itself, using gravity, it will swing like this, back and forth. I can't make the bat swing back and forth by itself like this, and I can't make it swing back and forth like this. So the only way that I can get this bat to swing back and forth, something has to be in a fixed position. So as you can see, my hand is in a fixed position to allow it to swing back and forth. We've all seen major leaguers have bats in their hands, and we've all seen them do things like this when they're warming up. They're sitting here doing this when they're warming up, swinging. Everything they're doing, they do it with the lead hand. They're sitting here, every swing that they take, they're trying to make sure that their lead hand, so the bat rotates around their wrist. They're not trying to take their hand and pull it back like this when they warm up. They're not trying to take their hand and do this when they warm up. They're not trying to take their hand and do this when they warm up. What they're trying to do is make sure that when this arm comes out, it rotates around this hand. It rotates around a fixed position. So when I'm hitting a baseball, it would make sense that if I'm a top hand guy, right, my bottom hand has to stay in a fixed position in order for me, when I swing, throw this bat around my wrist, it goes around my wrist and then it extends. So a lot of it has to do with where your hands are. A lot of guys hold their hands in a position where it doesn't allow the bat to go around their wrist. Where guys hold the bat like this, with it across your chest, it'll allow the bat to go around your wrist. So there's a lot of guys that hit that this lead arm is angled in this direction. It's angled out. So when it's angled out, it makes it hard for it to go around your wrist underneath, but it makes it easy for it to go around your wrist over the top. So when you're using your lead arm, you have to make sure your hand is turned back so your forearm is against your chest to allow the bat to rotate around your lead hand so it stays straight. A lot of people don't talk about this. So we see a lot of guys when they hit, their hands are like this. Their hands are out here. Well, as you can see, it's hard to rotate underneath my hand with my elbows out like that, with my lead arm out like that. It's going to go over the top. But if I take my hand and turn it this way, where my lead arm is up against my chest, now the bat wants to rotate underneath my hand. So with your lead arm, you have to make sure that your lead arm is up against your chest, your hands are turned out this way, so it will rotate underneath your hand when you swing. So that's why when guys talk about how they're top hand dominant, you'll see a lot of hitters, their bat will be across their chest like this, and they'll take their top hand and they'll throw it underneath like this, a fixed hand. So this hand stays here, they throw it underneath like a fixed hand, and then they extend because they're top hand dominant. Bottom hand dominant guys, which there are, they have to have the bat up against their chest in order for when they pull the knob and the barrel follows, Now the bat will do this. It'll roll underneath your hand and stay through the baseball. And that's what we want to do. We want to sit here and have the bat like this up against our chest, flat against our chest, so we can stay through the ball. We can stay through it like this. We don't want to have our hand out like this. So now when we come to the baseball, the bat wants to go around the ball like this. The closer you keep your hands to your body, the more your swing will be from A to B, because that's what we're trying to do with the lead arm. We want it to go from A to B. So if we take our hand and turn it in like this to allow it to rotate around the wrist, it will go from A to B. I was watching a video by a guy by the name of Dr. Chris Yeager. And Dr. Chris Yeager, said that when you hold a bat, this is what it feels like to hit a baseball. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like to launch the bat and to hit a baseball. So as you can see, once it gets to a certain point, it gets to a fixed position. It stops. See how my wrist stops and it rotates around my hand? He said, this is what it feels like to hit a baseball. So that's what we have to create. So we have to create where we hold the bat like this and we keep this arm turned in so it's against our chest to allow this bat to rotate around our wrist like this. That's what we want to do with our lead arm, and that's how we'll pull it out. We'll stay straight to the ball and inside the baseball. If we angle our lead arm out this way, now when we pull it, it's going to want to roll out, cast out here and roll up and over like that. And we don't want that to happen. So the most important thing is to make sure you turn this wrist out so your lead arm sits across your chest. You want it to sit across it. So now when you pull out, it'll roll around your hand. All right? So that's all that I have for today. I'll make another video. I have another video that I'm going to make. It's about bat design. So take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon.